Introducing the all-new Corolla.
Former Governor Carl Gutierrez, his running mate Gary Gumataotao, and numerous supporters gathered at a field down the street from the Guam Election Commission. The field is a spot that Gutierrez has used as a rally site for most of his campaigns. Led by drums, Gutierrez, Gumataotao, and his supporters marched to the GEC to officially file their candidacy for governor and lieutenant governor.
This is what a Magalai should be. Somebody that you can talk to, somebody that you can relate to, somebody that can tell you their problems too. You people will not worry about coming up to Carl Gutierrez or Gary Gumataotao and be spurned and be turned away. You know what happened in 8 years? I was the one going out in the jungles looking for the people's needs. And today, a lot of those items that we put out there 20 years ago are still standing. The water, the power, the road.
You see every major Democrat here. This is a sign of party unity. They didn't have to be forced to show up. They're here because they want to be part of the team. We are unified as one. We're not just Democrats. We're Republicans. We're independents. We're all together at the table to lead Guam back to the best it can be.
Democrat candidate for Congress Matt Artero also officially filed this morning.
Working in real estate on Guam, you really get to see how people are affected at their homes and the economic opportunities they need for themselves and for their children. And the first paragraph of our Constitution says it's the purpose of our government to ensure the blessings of freedom for the people and their children. And I think the government needs to be reminded of that constitutional duty to make sure that everyone is provided with the highest economic opportunities possible.
Congresswoman Madeline Berdallo filed today as well. She too was led by drums and followed by a group of supporters. Berdallo says that her seniority in Congress gives her an advantage in helping the people of Guam. Like last election, this election, she will have an opponent from within her party and from the Republican Party.
Well, I had opposition in the last election as well. So, I always look forward to this is an open race and anybody who's interested can run. I have, quite a bit of legislation in the U.S. Congress now pending. It's important to me and it's moving along, so I want to continue in that direction. Okay?
Speaker Judy Wanpat also filed for re-election today.
There's been a lot of course, legislations that I've introduced that have passed actually into law that will make a really big difference, especially for schools and also for our economy. So I have several other bills that are in the works right now that I don't want to reveal yet because I'm waiting now for a grant application to be awarded, and by that time then of course it would actually happen hopefully between this year. That would not just help Guam, our hospital, but actually even the entire islands throughout Micronesia.
The legislative race could prove to be both interesting and extremely competitive this year, as Republicans and Democrats are both pushing hard for the majority. Republican Mike Limtiaco announced early this month that he would not be running for re-election. And over the weekend, Democrat Senator Ben Pangilinan announced that he would be retiring after this term. Senator Pangilinan was hospitalized last week for an undisclosed ailment. In an interview with PNC last year, Pangilinan announced that he had been battling cancer. There are several new candidates who have already filed to run for senator, and PNC has learned some more familiar candidates have been circulating petitions to run. For the Republicans, former Senator Frank Blosh Jr. has a Facebook page announcing that he will be running, and petitions for former Senator Jim Espaldon have been circulating. For the Democrats, petitions are circulating for former Democrat Senator Hope Cristobal and former Guam DOE Superintendent Narissa Underwood.